Jojo, do you want to say you're sorry for leaving us and skedoodling?
Should I have left? I still stand by I should have left. There was a lot of tension. There's no part of me that needs to apologize for leaving the trip. I feel like it wasn't getting better.
Is not feeling any sort of way about an apology.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to this YouTube channel. This is the Gist Lover, and I am Lover. And today we're discussing Real Housewives of Durban episode 10. So let's just go into the conversation. For last episode, we had this conversation of Mabusi vibes and the rest, and that was like the highlight of episode 9. So for episode 10, it's all centers around Jojo, Nonku, and the ladies. So I think the dynamic within the group now is not like it's Jojo, Nonku against everyone in the group. And Jojo actually left the cast and everybody during this trip they had. She took them to, and she kept them. She left because she was angry about something. So let me just start from the beginning. So we discuss everything that happened on this episode of the Real Housewives of Durban. Stay back, and before we go into the conversation proper, please follow this YouTube channel. Like, subscribe to this channel so that you can always get the gist, because the gist never ends with Lover. Thank you. Resume back. Happy returns to this event, which Jojo's husband, as Calvin, actually hosted the fight. So while all of them were there, they were actually having fun and the rest. So Jojo came all along. Like, there's this conversation like, will Jojo be there? Will she not be there? So Jojo eventually attended the event, and upon coming, she called Nonku, and Nonku was very, very happy. She was gracious that Jojo was there because she felt like she was alone. And Nonku is actually cool with Mbali until Mbali came and was having this conversation and like attacked her and was not really welcoming with her because of this Mabusi vibe conversation, which would be an highlight of the coming episode, because I think we should have discussed this here now, but we all know how Mbali have been like on and off on this show, and it's like very annoying. So I think she'll be on the next episode and we'll actually address that. So Jojo eventually attended her event, and she was not really welcoming and the rest. She was just with Nonku all the night and the rest. And the ladies were actually complaining about how they feel she was not really hosting them well. She just left them to themselves and the rest. She did not even come to say hello to them and things like that. So it was like a conversation for that night. It was Maria inviting the ladies to her house. So Maria invited Sane, Sorisha, Slee, and who again? Nonku was not there. She invited Annie too. So it was like, okay, their group, that's Slee, Sorisha, Annie, and Sane. So they all went there and they had this conversation about Jojo and Nonku. So I feel that visit or that meeting was just like a gossip about Nonku and Jojo. Yes, I said what I said. So when they actually talked about Starter and everything that had been happening in the group, so they eventually got to their main conversation, which was to gossip about Jojo and Nonku. So the conversation about Sorisha actually told the ladies in the conversation she had with Sane, and how she opened up to Sane that it was Jojo who really wanted them to take out Sane out of the group of friends. Now, I'm not questioning, was that a very necessary something Sorisha was supposed to tell Sane? Why is it this time with the had issue with Jojo, this is actually coming up? You get? I feel, for me, I don't think it's really necessary, but it's just part of the drama of the show and to just give themselves a storyline, I feel. Then Sane actually spilled out on how the Mabusi vibe story and how Nonku and how Nonku had actually told her that Slee is broke. And this is actually a very loud one. Like, Slee really, really, I don't know. I'm going to say Slee is like, Slee was kind of not so surprised, but we know Nonku. Nonku can, I won't really say Nonku said that, but we all know Nonku. Like, I'm saying we all know Nonku based on what we've seen her do on this show so far. You get my point. So I'm not saying like she said it or she did not, but with the type of person Nonku had projected herself on this show, it will be very easy for someone to believe that Nonku will say this about Slee. And their friendship is not so bad. But okay, if Nonku had said this, is this true about Slee? I won't say so because we can see things she flaunts now. Broke person don't flaunt things like that. So that was that. They had that conversation, and Slee was like, so they actually still kind of show the personal life of some of the cast, which we had Viv and Sorisha and their kids. They went fishing. We saw Mabusi talking about her relationship with her mother and some of her family on this episode, and not Mabusi, Mbali on this episode too. Then we also had for Jojo, not Jojo, Annie and what's the name, Dagoro, her husband. So they discuss about the dynamic of the ladies and how she's actually dealing with it and the rest. Even Jojo and Calvin also went for this they went for these facial things, and Calvin will be making himself look better. So that's that. They went to see the doctor. Then who again? I think that's all. So what's their name? Jojo and Nonku, they met again and they had conversation about their friendship, their dynamic, and all the rest. To me, I feel like this friendship is actually a very cool one. But the thing is that they need to understand that everything is not just like everybody's against what they have or something like that, because they just feel like, oh, because they are friends, everybody's against their friendship, and everybody on the group do not really like them because they had this wonderful friendship. I feel if they take their mind off that and kind of just try to understand these people, it will be better. It will make their dynamic with the ladies on the show to be a very cool one. So they met, and during their meet, they discussed about everything that happened, how she really stood for Jojo and the rest, and it was fine. Then what's the name? Sorisha called and invited them to the event, the dog event, which the fundraising they were hosting. And this is actually very interesting highlights of this show, because the fundraising actually happened, and after the event, they had a conversation about Jojo leaving them at the trip. You get, so they actually had to address it. And by the way, so the people present for the every member of the show, I mean like every cast of the show was there. Ruan, Sane, everybody except Mbali, Nonko, and Annie. So these three people were not there. So they actually talked to Jojo. She was like, okay, why did you decide to do what you did that night? You left us hanging and the rest. So the one annoying thing here is that Jojo is not ready to take accountability for what she's done. Like she was able to just end the conversation, and actually she was not apologetic and the rest. She just wants to push everything under the carpet, and this is a very very annoying something which she needs to kind of do better with. So she's supposed to do better with it, and it's not a very good one that she's always not finding a way not to take accountability. Because even next episode now, we saw Annie addressing her, talking to her, and she's even trying to leave that conversation. So it's so crazy that it is like that. And what's the name? Then she talked about how Calvin is going to have his surgery, his heart surgery, and the rest, and that is something that is really on the mind. Could this be true? Yes, it is, but that does not mean you should not apologize. And even with that, I don't know, because it's just so crazy. Because some people might want to find excuse for her that, oh, if people are passing through a lot, that if you're passing through a lot, if you're dealing with personal issues, I don't think that should affect your relationship with other people. The way she came out that night during the event, how she was angry and she splashed water, the conversation had not even led, had not do not warrant such action. So I just feel like it's just Jojo being Jojo, being a sports brat. That's what I feel like, because I do not really think she was supposed to act that way out, regardless of whatsoever she's passing through. That's one thing for me. That's how I feel. So that was how this episode ended and the rest. So one thing again I liked was how what's the name, Annie was able to tell Sane that what you did about all a comment and the rest. She addressed it and was like, you did this and you're manipulative and you decide to do this. And this is something I really like. When they went to visit Maria and they were saying all of that, then what's the name? Sane talked about everything and the rest. So This why for Sorisha? Sorisha was like, okay, you have big mouth and the rest, but we like you for that. But for Annie, Annie do not coin awards. She was so plain about it. I was like, you did this and you decide to do this. You can always make the decision not to do things the way you've decided to do. And it's like it's true. And the reason why I just really like that she was not even buying into these things, these manipulations Sana is bringing to the table. That's one thing I like because Sana is she's a liar and everything. So for the fact that this Annie is not even ready to see what she's doing right as what is right. Like I just feel so pleased about it. So this is all I'll be saying on Real Housewives of the Band episode 10. Please and please and please subscribe to this channel.